Well, you know Canada's getting close to playing, or they are playing, when I start bringing out the red. Even though I love the color, it is foreshadowing what is to come, because that is to come. Big game Thursday night, my friend. The final window in CONCACAF World Cup qualifying is set to begin. Eddie Petrillo alongside Gareth Wheeler. We'll get to Christian Jack in just a moment. Oliver Platt will also be joining us. And here's the thing, I'm not really good with the scenarios. All I want to say, Gareth, is win in, you're in.
Yes.
That is the easiest thing for Canada. If they beat Costa Rica, they're in. However, there are other ways that the Stars can align for them. If they draw Costa Rica, because the Canadians have quite a few draws as well in this campaign, and Panama fails to beat Honduras, they're in. The second scenario, if Canada draws versus Costa Rica and the Americans can't beat the Mexicans, they'll give themselves enough points to be in. And then the final scenario is if the top two combined happen. So let's just say worst case is Canada doesn't win, but Panama fails to beat Honduras and USA fails to beat Mexico. Then there you go. The Canadians are in. But I prefer to keep it simple. Win and you're in. Let's bring in Christian Jack right now. And Christian, you're really good at these types of permutations as well. Did I do a good job? Was that okay?
Human calculator, Christian Jack.
Yeah, you were great. And of course, it's a team effort here, right? You're going to have Ollie on soon. He wrote a great piece on the site about it weeks and weeks ago. You know, Ollie's always ahead of the game. So look, this is... it's a night for scenarios potentially, but it's also a night for Canada just to know that it's in their hands, and it's been in their hands for months, right? This whole World Cup qualifying campaign has been them really against themselves, and that's the greatest part about it, is that they're playing against their own internal battles and their own internal goals, and they're not going to be watching the score unless it's absolutely necessary come the 90th minute in Costa Rica of other games. I think this is a pretty simple solution. Go out there and just perform and do what you need to do.
But KJ, we know this is going to be tough. We know Costa Rica as well is going to want to chase down that fourth spot. We know they've also taken time away. They've shut down their own league so these players can prepare for this. Our good friend Laura Armstrong, who is out there, said that one of the customs agents, as she was walking, through the gates there in Costa Rica, said, prepare Canada to suffer your first loss of this World Cup qualifying campaign. That's how much it also means to the Costa Ricans. So how difficult is this game going to be?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Undoubtedly, it's the hardest window for Canada because they're coming up against two teams in Costa Rica and Panama who believe that this is it for them. They believe that they've got a legitimate chance, not necessarily of getting to the top three, although that's still a realistic possibility, is that they see that fourth window and they see what's going on in Oceania right now and the weak quality of play that's coming in there, and the fact that they see that as a genuine winnable playoff game. So, the runway is opened up for Costa Rica and Panama here, and Canada in the way of that. So Costa Rica are a tough opponent. We'll get into that again later, but this is a game that they believe that they can win. Their record over the last few games has been phenomenal. I think they've really managed this very, very well, this campaign. Remember this is a group of players. A handful of them were in the 2014 quarterfinal World Cup 8 years ago. This is a tough team with a manager who already knows how to get to a World Cup twice with different countries. Have managed this very well. They don't give up goals. This will be a real big test for Canada, and I love that, and they love that, by the way. Canada wants these tests. They've been aching for these tests, and I don't think they would want it any other way than having to play a team that needs to get there to have it in front of them.
I feel like we've been here before, right? Like I've kept on saying, oh, this is a very difficult window.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a very difficult window. Now they've rolled off 6 consecutive wins. It's just like... they're a team that know their identity. The message has been driven in. And look, we dealt with all the different situations to qualify. They're sitting pretty. The pressure's on everyone else right now. I hope that they don't play like this weight of expectation on their shoulders that have actually, it's been built up. Even regular, normal sports fans across this country, they're going to be glued. They cannot wait to see this team play. I hope they get to go play with a level of freedom, right? And really enjoy this experience that they put themselves in, leading this group with 4 points. And a whole lot of things have to go wrong for Canada not to qualify here. But I think they want to do it with a certain style and tick off another couple goals, in the process here.
Well, we know John Herdman has not been shy about saying they want to finish first and they want to go undefeated as well. So this is going to be a really massive game for them. And we know the last time they faced Costa Rica, we go back to November, not quite as cold as in the following game against Mexico. But it took a 57th minute goal by Jonathan David for them to beat Costa Rica. So some people were a little bit on edge there, Wheels. But how was Canada still able to get the job done?
It was a scrappy game.
Yeah.
It was a difficult game. It was a very unusual starting 11 for Costa Rica in that game as well. And the team looks a lot different now than it did that night. I think the Canadian identity continues to grow, continues to build off nights like this. But the goalkeeping error, Keylor Navas, PSG, should be their number one, by the way.
Donnarumma's doing just fine.
A Champions League winner. He's won just about everything. He didn't play in either one of those games against Canada last year, the win in the Gold Cup or the World Cup qualifying game. Does Keylor Navas make that kind of mistake leading to that goal? Probably not. And now Costa Rica, I don't necessarily agree it's a must win. It is probably if they want to finish in the top three, but that top four spot is available for them. I believe they play El Salvador next. They're going one-on-one against Panama here. They play Canada, El Salvador, the United States. So they need to get something out of this game. And I think their team is much more equipped to do the job at home in front of 35,000 people at altitude in San Jose than they were -8 or whatever in Edmonton on artificial surface in November.
Yeah, well, I mean, I touched on it at the top about how important this game also is for Costa Rica, who want to stay in the race here. So Canada, United States, Mexico right now rounding out that top three. Canadians have put themselves in a very good position with 25 points. But you can see the battle there for fourth between Panama and Costa Rica. KJ, what are you expecting from them? Because as we know, that fourth spot, they go into a playoff.
Yeah, both teams, Costa Rica and Panama, still have to play the United States as well. Panama go there next as well. That'll be a difficult game for them. So I agree again with Gareth a lot on Costa Rica. Not only was Navas not playing that day, Borges didn't play that day in Edmonton either. Brian Ruiz didn't play. That window on that day, at that occasion for them, was all about Honduras at home. They had to win that game, and they only won one of their first 7 games in World Cup qualifying, but they knew if they didn't beat Honduras that day, 4 days after Edmonton, that they were done for the belief internally within that squad. And so they came to Edmonton, played exactly the style we expect them to play, tried to get a 0-0. It didn't get their way because of Moreira dropped the ball and a brilliant piece of finishing from Jonathan David. But that's the way Costa Rica play. Every game in World Cup qualifying, and I mean every game, has been decided by 1 goal or less. It's either been a draw or one goal each way. Late goals, drama, defensive organization, they're difficult to break down. And this is going to be a scrap. There's no question about that. And as Gareth said, I do think they would probably take a draw. I think they could feel like they could go win the next 2 games and at least get to fourth. But look, this is fantastic for Canada. The fact that they are where they are, they still got things they've got to fight for, but they're playing real opposition. And we have to remember, guys, that when this qualification is over and it's almost done and they're going to qualify for the World Cup, a lot of anticipation and excitement is going to be around games and warm-up to the build-up to the World Cup, but they're still only international exhibition / friendly games. Nothing gets the juice flowing more than World Cup qualifiers. These kind of games, a game like this on Thursday night, will be massive preparation for Canada, whoever they play in Qatar. When you're playing up a team like this, who have been to 4 of the last 5 World Cups, it's fantastic preparation in a competitive environment.
Hey, I had a bit of a moment yesterday, actually. I was going through my phone. I took a picture, March 25th, 2021, when this campaign started for the Canadians. And here we are, almost a year to the day that they can go ahead and clinch a spot. Yeah, I had a little bit of a moment as I was staring at that. Now, I mentioned before, obviously, that Herdman has made no bones about wanting to go undefeated. He has also said, though, Gareth, that this is a team that hasn't been together in 5 weeks. And we know playing time's different for different players. COVID is still a thing in this world that can keep players out of lineup. So he said, maybe we're going to be a little clunky out of the gate. But how important is it? And I can't believe I'm going to ask this, but it seems like it's a thing with this Canadian team to not just qualify, but do so in style.
I think that you take it step by step. The first thing is qualify. And of course, the way that this team has played, it has been with style. It has been with excitement, just the way that they've gone about playing. But when you mentioned that 5 weeks they haven't played, well, still no Alphonso Davies. It's incredible to think that half of their World Cup qualifying games in the Octagon are going to be played without Alphonso Davies in the team. Jonathan David right now hasn't been lighting the world on fire at Lille. Kyle Larin hasn't scored since going back to Besiktas, since the January window where he was so good. If you look at the European-based Canadian players, I don't think they're on the greatest form, certainly not in as good form as they were in previous windows. On the flip side, the MLS players are now in season, so where they might have been a little bit more of a liability just in terms of their overall fitness, where they were at in terms of their overall progression. We're a little bit behind in January, they've caught up now. So it's an imperfect situation that he's dealing with right now. Suspensions for the first games, some injury doubts as well. So look, they're going to have to be pragmatic. So yes, we'd all like to see it done in style, but first things first, qualify, then you can go on and see what you can do.
I want to see what Larin can do. I want another brilliant goal by Jonathan David. I want another brilliant save by me. Well, no, actually, no, because then that means they're getting shot at. But you know what I'm saying. I love the style that this team has been providing for us. And we just saw there, KJ, obviously one of the great highlights against Panama, of course, is Alphonso Davies. I'm a little upset. I expressed it on the show earlier this week that I would have loved for Bayern to at least release him, to be able to celebrate with his team. We understand not being able to play, but you actually had a chance to catch up with Alphonso Davies. What stood out in that interview to you?
Yeah, thanks, Andy. It's great, obviously, chatting with him for 30 minutes. And obviously, I think, as John Herdman has quite rightly said, you know, the health of Alphonso Davies is more important right now. Of course, he'd love to come over. And maybe there's still a chance that they can get that organized. But at the moment, it doesn't seem like he'll be there. What stood out was just his genuine, just his genuine honesty. He's just his pureness and the fact that how much he loves his football. And, he opens up a little bit to me, on the CPL YouTube channel on our one-on-one, where he talks about how difficult it's been in his bout with myocarditis and his recovery from that, how excited he is just to get back on the pitch and appreciating that again and getting the air in his lungs a little bit and kicking a ball there with Bayern. And we talk about his teammates there living in Munich, and then obviously the camaraderie and brotherhood of this game and this team that's coming up this week, and how connected he is to this team. He's, of usual, full of praise for John Herdman, and we talk about that. We have some fun opening some trading cards as well. So a lot of fun there. But overall, to answer your genuine question, is just his passion. The passion is never lost on him. And I think that comes across in the interview, is that just real genuine excitement. He can't wait. He knows that they're going to make it now. He genuinely believes it, and he can't wait for the World Cup draw. And he also talks about maybe wanting to get Germany in the group in the FIFA World Cup draw. That'd be pretty
Bring
nice.
him on. Let's do it.
He wants to take a big bite out of that apple. KJ, appreciate you joining us here for the first segment on One Soccer today.